bumper's already on the screen.
Thank God you're here, James.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came.
Amateurs.
So this was actually just the good studio's way of doing it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hang on. That doesn't exist anymore, does it?
He just walked off.
That's the real walk-off.
Yeah.
That is,
No, this is the point too when James just doesn't give a crap. He doesn't listen anymore. So draft, huh?
that's happening.
The player pictures are all different sizes because Puppey looks way smaller than Dendi. Dendi's hair won't even fit in the little frame.
Puppey had to be rescaled.
Yeah, I guess that's it. The cameraman's like, can you move back a bit, please?
I don't blame him. Puppey's just like a... He's... When he wants to be, he's a very menacing guy.
I agree.
And his hair is fantastic.
Lustrous. I'm
It
so
really is,
jealous.
yeah.
I look at that hair, I just feel like...
You know,
I just want hair.
I should convince him, if he wins, DreamHack, donate his hair to Locks of Love.
Or to us.
So maybe in
I thought you were going to
hopes-
say us. I was going to agree.
Well, I mean, we could like go through the charity. That's
Okay,
that's it,
yeah.
You know.
Did you notice when he put his headphones on, he wore them like across the back so it didn't muss with the do?
Dude, if I had hair like that, I wouldn't put my headset
Nobody's
over
touching
my hair.
head. Nobody's touching
Exactly.
it, yeah.
But
Only trained
really,
professionals.
that hair for him is so easy to control because compared to what his hair used to be,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures.
yeah,
That's a barnet.
he's having an easy time this time around.
Yeah.
How about we talk about a draft, huh?
Well, we've had
Could.
two bands apiece.
If we're going to go professional here.
I'm gonna make a call here. They're gonna pick up Clockwerk. Boom.
It's like you can see into the future.
I quit. I retire
And the thing is,
with a 100%
the thing
record.
is, because of the overlay, no one's actually gonna know if you called it before or after the hero.
No,
was
I
picked.
literally.
But I know I'm. You
Okay.
didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say to everybody at home, he did call it before it came out.
Boom.
Boom.
And they're gonna pick up.
I thought I was gonna
Draskyl's
throw him under
lying.
the bus.
Draskyl's lying.
How am I lying? They actually didn't see it, so no one actually knows.
No, only the three of us know.
They should get Windrunner again. She worked well for them last time. Enchantress. Okay, she worked well too.
I find it a bit strange that Team Liquid just first picked Clockwerk after what happened to them last game. But I guess what James said kind of rang true, is that it didn't have any type of initiation. And that really hurts whenever you're playing from a position anywhere other than ahead, which is important to note about the draft that Team Liquid had, is they picked 3 lanes that they wanted to win. And when you get a triple lane win, usually you don't need an initiator because you just walk at the other team and they can't fight you. So you just win because you have a death ball. But that's not really how it played out. So this time they're going with more, I would say, rounded draft so far, just having the capability of starting a fight. And they're going to go with a Visage for the 2nd game in a row. I think it's still a strong hero, even though last game it didn't have the best showing.
Yeah. And in the last game, I remember you said during game number 1, like, the draft was good. It's just what happened with the lanes really made it end up being really, really bad at the end of the day because they never really found that rotation. They had Luna free farming. They tried to rotate to help it out, but it didn't really work. Like, there was just a lot of things that didn't come together in the end lanes. And Liquid, though, now they've got, like, Visage and Clockwerk. Like, they've got a lot to play around with here still, and they don't lock themselves into anything. While NaVi, like, we get a gyro and we get an enchantress out from them. Like, what are we trying to get out of this lineup? Is it a push? Is it team fight? What are we looking at here? Because if it was team fight, we would have looked at an Enigma coming up for the jungle kind of style hero. But because Enchantress is here, I'm wondering if this is just going to be a little bit more aggressive in the lanes from NaVi.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be any less teamfight oriented because the gyrocopter is still very strong in terms of teamfight, and they have only picked 1 support thus far. Team Liquid, if you look at the bans, they've banned out Storm and OD. Lifestealer's taken out of the pool. Luna is also gone. So the amount of BKB heroes in the draft in general are diminishing very quickly, which means an Enchantress damage is still going to be viable for a longer period of the game. So with that in mind, I feel like NaVi aggression is definitely on the table. I mean, it's NaVi. They love playing aggressive in general.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's so bad for teamfight. We're just going to have to see what the 3rd and 4th picks are to really get an idea of what they're going to be going for.
10 seconds remaining.
I was kind of sitting here on the sidelines just wishing for Pudge, but I saw Clockwerk. I'm like, no.
Man, you can buy a Blink Dagger on Pudge now.
Yeah.
How insanely terrifying is that?
Reserve time.
You know, I've actually blamed 6.79 for my deaths because of that. Because
Really?
of that change. I've died like 10 times to a Pudge just because he was able to buy
It's
a Blink
scary,
Dagger.
man. Well, look at this win rate, by the way, the statistic you're seeing on screen now. Hero win rate for NaVi with gyrocopter is 9-3, 75% win rate.
Not bad.
Oh.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. And when you combine it with the two lovely ladies with red hair, it gets even better.
Yep. They're not going to change the Enchantress's name to anything, are they?
God, I hope
Because that's not. I mean, that's you can't. You know, Enchantress is a thing. Like Windrunner is a made up
enchanting.
thing. Yeah, but you can be an Enchantress. I mean, you know, it's like a fantasy staple, I'd say.
It depends on what universe you're talking about. When
True.
You're talking about an enchantress, because when I think of it, you know what? I'm just not going to get into it because that's way nerdier than we
Yeah.
need to be right
Okay,
now.
let's
We
back
can just
off.
talk about Dota. Okay.
Let's talk about cars.
Yeah.
Gar. So,
How
two
many
of the-
horsepower does Gyro have under his hood?
two of the heroes that
5.
NaVi played,
5?
5.
That's not
Liquid have got. They've stolen 2 of their heroes.
Well, I think Mirana works really well with Clockwerk in general.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily stealing heroes as much as it's just having really good synergy
Right.
between. So
And in this lineup anyway, I don't think, like, you can have a Mirana, but the ability for Mirana to connect with one of her arrows has become a hell of a lot harder right now. Like, you got Windrunner. Like, Windrunner's going to be getting 4 staffs. We can assume this time around that it will be Dendi. I'm saying we can assume.
right now, maybe
Right
not
now.
though, because they picked up
DK.
Dragon Knight. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dendi hates playing Dragon Knight mid.
He does.
Yeah.
Do you reckon maybe they'll give him
however-
to Funnick?
Yeah, but Funnick's the offlaner.
Funnick could take the Windrunner and then DK in the mid, then Enchantress, Gyro being played by a VOST.
Yeah, that's like the obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we're going to go with a Stockholm standard kind of thing. The other option, I'm actually seeing another real option in this one. Unless they run Windrunner as a support hero, that would be the only other thing you could add to this, which means you'd be able to get another support through the pool. But either way, Denny's taking out probably the DK. And if it's not the DK, it'll be the Windrunner.
I don't think I've ever seen Dendi play Dragon Knight.
He played it, I think the last time I saw it in a big way was at TI, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while. You could always try a different option with the lanes, though. You could always try and run Gyro as a bottom lane solo.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a little bit more classic, but you could do that. And then you could put the DK on the top lane being played by, well, Havorst, leave Funnick as the Gyro, and then just put Enchantress +1 up on that top if they go aggressive. But clinkz comes up here, so look for the
clinkz?
hand of Midas, safe lane farmer, and take away Enchantress's army.
The thing with Mirana is, and you see quite often, and it occurs to me, is that, and we actually saw in that last game where TC was in a fight, and he's committed to the fight, and all of a sudden realized, oh wait, there are 3 heroes here. Because of that Mirana ult, it's much easier to force people to make bad decisions, I think, because they think, oh, there's someone here, I'll fight, and then all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 more people. You don't know where they're coming from. It's very strong. Her ult is very, very strong.
The thing is, experienced teams always know when they're going to be committing a lot of people to one area, right? So say you're going for like a tier 1 or a tier 2 push, it's just common to bring sentries. And then as soon as you have sentries down, the Mirana ulti becomes less useful.
Yeah.
And then if you have sentries and dust, well then if the fight actually turns in your favor, as opposed to dropping just more sentries, you just dust, because that way they're slowed anyway and you can chase them down. And against the clinkz especially, I think that detection is going to be plentiful. And in that sense, it kind of feels weird to pick 2 heroes who rely pretty heavily on invis together.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like, okay, well, Skeleton Walk still gives you a heck of a lot of move speed, but if you get Dragon-tailed, you're pretty much dead.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
Bounty was the last ban out by TC, so TC still thinks that they're missing an offlaner. Which means in TC's mind, either the Gyro or the Windrunner is being a support in this role, and that will be a Dendi on the DK solo mid. If you like it or if you don't, Puppey will still make you play it.
Well, I think DK is actually really good against clinkz, but clinkz is good against Enchantress
Well,
at very high physical damage.
The hero matchup is actually 61% in favor. Sorry, 67% in favor of Enchantress, according to the statistics.
Well, because the whole Death Pact thing working against Enchantress creeps is true. Like, it's not saying that it's a bad strategy, but typically when you're playing against an Enchantress, you get early pushed, and clinkz is not good against early push.
Right.
So they're going to be relying on the rest of the heroes of Liquid to try to slow that to an extent.
So do you think that it's maybe not a particularly good pickup for Liquid in this case?
I think it's shaky. I think it's okay, but clinkz is one of those heroes who needs some time to farm, right? Like, you want to ideally finish your Orchid before you start really doing anything big. By that time, DK is very easily going to be over level 6, and that's another thing that's great about DK mid is if the other mid moves, you kill his tower.
Right.
Because of how good the damage over time, right? You get the poison attack on the tower, and it just dies. I think it's like 100+ damage guaranteed every time you hit the tower.
Wow.
Which is ludicrous at that early stage in the game. And plus, you can't focus a DK. All he has to do is rush a BKB and just walk at the other team.
Yeah, he just walks at you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But we could also say that NaVi have the same kind of a problem that Liquid had last game, and that they don't have an initiator. They don't have anyone who just goes in and says, I am making this fight happen.
Yeah.
If you
They
get a
don't have
Shadow
that
Blade
hero.
up on the DK, then you'll have that.
Yeah, but it's not a guaranteed initiation, you know? It's not like the Blink Dagger. It's not like having a Clockwerk hook, because the range is just so much more massive. And as soon as they see the Shadow Blade come out, you see sentries, you see dust.
Well, then you get Dendi to play Windrunner, and he gets a Blink Dagger on it.
Well, he has done that before.
Yep.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Tied.
Tidehunter,
There you
wow,
go.
I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, jeez.
But I like it.
That's old school.
Against a team of one BKB hero, very solid.
I am interested to see how... Actually, no, because you will have time, won't you? Like,
Yeah.
time to get the levels up on Tidehunter. Mirana's going to take time before she wants to rotate. Visage wants to find level 6. Clockwerk needs level 6. And clinkz needs Orchid.
Yeah.
So, Team Liquid's timing is really, really later into this game. Like, depending on the start that clinkz could get on that top lane, you could see an Orchid as early as like maybe 11, 12 minutes into this game. And then they could go on a bit of a ganking spree. But then if you Orchid
free
up
lane. If he gets a free lane.
yeah, if he has a lane which is completely abandoned, that's the only way to do it. But when you're running a Tide, you don't have that option.
NaVi have great team fight and a ridiculous amount of tank right here. DK hard to kill, Enchantress hard to kill, Tidehunter hard to kill, and then Gyro, if you give him time, hard to kill. Crazy. So Dendi DK.
Yeah,
And they've got a Bane. Right, I was going to say, why don't people get Bane more? Bane Mirana is ridiculous.
Well,
Then-
in this one, I'm wondering if you can even get a full Fiend grip off. Like if it just turns into, like it's just saying, like Nightmare into Arrow.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is, like, Liquid's lineup here is set up for, like, early game kills, isn't it? With
A bit.
Mirana, Bane.
It's like an aggressive 4 protect 1.
Yeah.
Because the Bane, the Mirana, Visage, and Clockwerk all work pretty well together. And then you have clinkz, who's going to need a little bit of time. And then he functions very well in the sense of creating map presence just by walking around and saying, if you guys are ever separated, we're talking especially about heroes like Enchantress, Windrunner, the supports, they can die in an Orchid and a Strafe very, very easily. But Liquid has to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I feel as though NaVi, they have a very conventional, no initiator, but very strong.
Strong team fight,
Yeah,
right?
we're going to walk, we're going to hit your tower. If you commit to the fight, you better damn well do it perfectly,
Yeah.
or you're going to
You're
get
gonna
punished.
get Ravage called